Hey guys, and welcome to my final weekly chat for this season of The Walking Dead. So I'm just gonna sort of just talk a little bit about what I thought about the finale. The first thing that I'm actually gonna say is the fact that I absolutely love when the show puts something out there that the fans are so divided about. And it's really interesting to me, and people are starting to get a little passionate, a little aggressive about it, but I don't like when people are yelling at each other and, you know, we can talk civilly. However, that's what I love about the show. Every single person who watches this show relates to a different character, relates to a different situation. And I feel like, you know, half of the people are like with Maggie and half of the people are with Rick. And that is kind of, honestly, I love hearing why people think the way that they do about the situation. I kind of see both sides. I'm not with anyone. I'm also not entirely convinced, like I feel some people are, that there's gonna be some like civil war. I don't think that it's not gonna get that deep. In my opinion, I don't think so. I think it's pretty interesting that Maggie, I like the idea, and I really do see kind of both sides. I mean, Rick wants to honor his son. He also, you know, realizes, and I think the main point on Rick's end is that if he is going to try to establish a society that is similar to what it was before, then there needs to be kind of a more, maybe, life in prison. Maybe they should just have a trial for Negan. I don't really know who the fuck could be on that jury, seeing as, like, almost everybody was affected by the situation. It'd be a very biased trial, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, if that's the route they're going, I think that it's interesting to kind of see that, you know, they're really trying to move a little bit away from, and I feel like the first few seasons, or getting up to probably around like season 4 and 5, is like them accepting that the world has changed and that you have to do terrible things, not just Rick, but you know, Carol and all of these other characters you might have to actually kill. You might have to, and now because places have gotten a little more established and fortified or whatever, we're now going back. And that was brought up so many times in this season, you know, we don't get to come back, we do get to come back, what, you know, back and forth of all of that stuff. I think that it's really interesting to see Rick kind of finally have this sort of realization of like, you know, oh, okay, this is what I should be doing. And, you know, a lot of people have the comment of like, well, he killed any old savior, you know, when him and Morgan, but he can't kill Negan, like that's ridiculous or whatever. And what I will say in Rick's defense of that is, I mean, he was also like mourning the loss of his son. I think a lot of times when people look at the show, they look at certain characters making the most, like, that they're all clear-headed and they're just making the most rational decisions. And that's the main thing when people are either attacking Rick or attacking Maggie in this, in the comment sections and all that stuff. It's like, you have to realize that both of them lost the most important person in their life fairly recently. And I know for us, Glenn was a while ago, and there's a lot of people saying just get over it, but you can, she's not even showing pregnancy wise, so it was recent. It was not like, you know, it wasn't like 2 years ago for her or anything like that. And even if it was, I don't see, it's such a gray area, and I love it. I love this stuff. I'm sorry. So that episode kind of explaining Rick a little bit, but on Maggie's side, I felt for her when she was like crying and screaming on the field. It really got to me, and because I felt the same way. I feel the same way in a sense. Glenn is my favorite, and I want some justice for him. I want justice for taking Glenn away from me, all right? We don't just get to move past this, you know what I mean? Like I said, I see both sides, but I think that there's something about the fact that Maggie does admit, like, no, we shouldn't just be killing saviors. We shouldn't just, like, gun them all down. I think it would have been a really different situation if when the saviors were putting their hands up and stuff, Maggie just, like, lit them all up anyway. Like, that probably would have been something, you know. But I think her needing justice for Negan, you can't blame her. Now, should that be carried out? That's another thing that needs to come up and be discussed, which I think we're going to tackle in the next season with everything going on. But do I blame her for wanting Negan's head on a spike? No, and it's strange to me that there are people that do. Now, I'm not talking about anybody else, but Maggie, I don't know. I feel like, especially it's being so recent and what Glenn and Maggie meant to each other, I don't blame her one bit. But I'm really not on a side. I feel like I should because everybody's so passionate about it. Everybody's like, Team Rick, Team Maggie. Fuck Rick, fuck Maggie. Like, it's so aggressive, and I see both sides, and I love both characters, and, but I don't think it's going to be some big thing. The other thing that, I think it's going to be important to the next season, but I don't think it's going to be as big as other people are making it out. I don't think there's going to be a freaking war going on and they're shooting guns at each other. Like, maybe there will be. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I have like so much faith. I'm like, they love each other though. Yeah, so I think it's kind of interesting to think about that though from both sides. And I think I've always had this not issue with the season, but the people who are not heavily affected by the war. Now, it's very hard to find people because this war has really affected everybody in some form or fashion, but they really need to step up. It's interesting that Rick and Maggie are kind of the two quote-unquote leaders-ish that we're dealing with. You know, and they're both like suffering a very major loss and possibly not thinking very clear-headed. I think it's interesting that they're the ones like calling the shots, whereas I think, you know, especially now, Rick didn't go as cuckoo as he did back in season 3 where he was seeing Lori in a white dress and all that stuff, but even then, like, everybody else kind of helped him and realized that he wasn't the best at making the decisions, and, you know, so I think it's kind of interesting. And that's what I think Jesus is doing there. So many people were very angry about the fact that Jesus was sitting there. I think Jesus has an immense loyalty to Maggie. I think that's true. And I think he's keeping an eye on things and making sure that she doesn't go too far off the deep end. I'm not sure he has any qualms with killing Negan. He might, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I know that he's very but I think he's anti-killing people you don't have to. So he might still think that Negan deserves justice. Anyway, and a lot of people think that, you know, rotting in a cell is worse or, you know, I don't know, a worse fate than death. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. And so that's true. And I like that that's even a discussion. We all have kind of different feelings about that. Is it more about having Negan suffer, or is it more about giving Maggie peace of mind and everybody else? You know, I don't know. I also don't know how I feel about the whole, yeah, the saviors are great now, let's have them roam around. I mean, there are people I've met that I've seen mentioned in the comment section that it's really not the smartest idea to have saviors just be fine and roaming around doing whatever they want. I agree in some regards. I think I said that in my reaction. I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's good on paper, but let's hope nobody, like, decides that they want to rise up and free Negan or something like that. I think that's going to be interesting thing to deal with as well. But what I love is this is really setting up for a season, or the start of season 9, to really have a lot of these questions, like, what do you do? letting the saviors kind of not be in cells or whatever, that is the more humane thing to do. But hopefully it doesn't come and bite them in the ass. And are there going to be people that is going to be worried that it's going to bite them in the ass? I would assume Daryl will be one of them. I love it. I think it's interesting, and I'm really excited to see where we're going to go with all of this. So that's kind of the main stuff that I wanted to talk about. The other stuff, I'm just going to mention a couple of things. I'm really happy that Gabriel didn't die. That was probably one of my favorite things about this finale, because I was really worried. I was like, he's going to have his meaningful death and he's going to like sacrifice himself or something like that, and that didn't happen. So hopefully he'll get better and be okay. Eugene, my love. So you guys see time and time again in these weekly chats me just saying like, I feel like he'll turn around, and after a while I started feeling really stupid saying it, because I was like, I think it's so obvious he's not going to, but I'm like, so like I had like blinders on. I was like, I'm not, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Like he'll be fine. I think it's really interesting. I love what they've done with Eugene. He's one of my favorite characters to watch. I don't know how much I relate to him, but I think it's a very realistic way of kind of portraying a character that, like, in theory wants to be brave, but struggles with it. You know, like, it's a struggle, as opposed to watching, like, a character. I'm just coming up with this because Eugene, the parallel is, like, Abraham, who kind of always was, like, he didn't really fear death too much, and he even like when he was like standing up in the lineup with Negan, it was kind of like he was like daring Negan to pick him and to kind of be a shield for everybody else. And I think that is kind of what is really interesting to see, kind of the other aspect of it. And I think it's so easy for all of us, including me, to like sit on our couches or wherever you watch it, and kind of just say like, oh my God, save him, do this, do that, big, you know, but we're not in this situation. We all like to think that we would be the brave people, but I think that there's a good portion of us that maybe would struggle with, you know, and dealing with facing death in that sort of way. And I like that they've shown that with Eugene. I think they gave him some great moments. One of my favorite Eugene moments ever, one of his first, I think, displays of not being cowardly was when he carried Tara out of the play. Do you remember that in season 5? I loved that, and it was such a triumphant moment for him, but it was kind of easy for him to revert back and stuff. And I like that we saw this sort of back and forth struggle with doing what was right and helping his friends, or, you know, and I really liked that he did come through in the end, but it was, I mean, it was risky. But anyway, I really loved that. And I loved that they had kind of a moment between him and Rosita. It was like as soon as the guns went off and just exploded, basically, I would, like, in my mind, I was just like, where's Rosita? I want her to see it. I want her, you know, and for them to kind of have a moment. I thought that was really important and special. What else? Dwight, I'm interested to see. I feel like we'll get like a Dwight-centric episode in the next season. And it might be... Well, I won't say that. Wait. I try to keep my chats comic book free as much as I can, but it might be introducing, so you guys know, if you guys read the comics, you know what I'm talking about. It might be interesting. So it would be interesting to see if he gets kind of a Dwight-centric episode, searching for Sherry and trying to figure out what's going on with her. That's how I'll say this. I like that, you know, Jadis is kind of in the community. I'm really interested to see if anything about who she is, her past, or Anne, I'm sorry, not Jadis, Anne. That's going to take a while for me to get used to. and everything that's going on with that. I think that that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to delve into. Do I have to think what else I want to talk about? I'm trying to keep this a little short and sweet. I will most likely be doing a review of the entire season, which will be a much longer video and stuff like that, but I'm trying to just sort of talk about how I feel about what I will say. The only letdown that I will say that I kind of had with, I wish there was more of a battle at some point. I think we got little like bits of battles, and it might have been a little more realistic this way. But I wish that there was more of a battle. I feel like Negan and the Saviors is kind of the biggest adversary that our group has come across, and I would have liked a little more of a satisfying battle than what we got. That's just my opinion. I don't know if anybody agrees with that, but I wish that, and maybe that we would lose people on both sides. I mean, but I think the whole point of this was to say, like, you know, we need to stop killing. Is really the direction this season has been going in anyway. So, yeah. Lord, I'm hoping that I'm not missing something super important. I'm just sort of talking here. But yeah, I mean, I think that that's basically, you know, everything that I really wanted to say. I'm not Team Rick, I'm not Team Maggie, I'm Team both of them, okay? It's just, I don't have to choose an allegiance. Rick is my favorite TV character of, like, all time, so I love him, but I totally, you know, I love Glenn, and I love Maggie, and I see both sides. And I think they're both people really trying to honor the people that they've lost. Now, a lot of people have made the point that, you know, Glenn probably wouldn't have been, you know, wouldn't have had this kind of angry need for justice or vengeance for Negan. But this is a genuine question for you guys. So, literally, I really want to know what you guys think. If Negan, instead of Glenn, killed Maggie, what do you think? If the roles were just reversed and it was Glenn, and do you think Glenn would still want vengeance? I think there's a part of me that thinks that he still would, even though in general, Glenn was a guy who really liked to save people, the whole thing with Nicholas and Tara, and he really thinks, but if it was Glenn, or if it was Maggie that Negan killed in that gruesome, horrifying way, I'm not entirely sure that I can buy the fact that Glenn wouldn't want vengeance. But genuine question for you guys. I want to know what you guys think, because I think that that's really, really interesting. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this weekly chat, and I hope that you guys enjoyed them this season. I am really, really excited. I think I'm going to do a couple more kind of Walking Dead-centric videos within the next few weeks and stuff. I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to get around to it, because I'm currently trying to get through some stuff with my channel, and I'm going to start reacting to some new shows this summer, and I'm trying to figure all that out and all that stuff. So whenever I get to it, I hope that you guys tune in and all that stuff. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!